As usual, the GUC SCAD organized another event for the business world on campus this year. Activities of this fall semester event are many and different. They include Alumni Fair sessions, mock interviews, in addition to inspirational career journey and job hunting education sessions.
Then gives me a feedback on every question. His whole overview about my performance in the interview is for the body language. As for the CV, he corrected some things in the CV, which is really good.
As if it's a normal interview at a multinational company. The guy was nice. Was very nice. He made me feel very comfortable, and then he told me to do things that they ask about it in the real interview.
In General Motors, it's very important for us. The employee has high integrity, high trust. He's a person that is passionate about what he wants to do. And we look for many other competencies like managerial courage, making decisions in timely manner, and so on.
This is depending on the role itself. The competencies depend on the role itself, but there is a standard, minimum standard for accepting certain candidates. Minimum communication level of communication skills, a level of language skills, dealing with people, attitude, integrity. Something like this, but mainly it's depending on the vacancy itself.
Very positive to sit with people with experience in general, in order to know exactly where you want to start in your life, in order to put the right energy in the right place, in order not to waste time. And this is mainly what the event is about. So you're extremely lucky to have this event in GUC campus. It's been 6 years since I came to university, since I graduated. To be honest, there's a lot of changes, positive changes, a lot of infrastructure development.
The guy I asked from business informatics, he was really beneficial. He answered clearly my questions. Now I know that when someone asks me these two questions, I know what to say, and I'm more optimistic about my future, inshallah.
I came here to gain some bonus ideas to achieve my goal, and I asked some of the alumni participants, and they gave me enough experience and enough bonus ideas to achieve it.
The GUC students, they have a very competitive advantage. It's one of the most reputable programs here. They are very much prepared to the market. The other thing that could be one of the areas to work on is getting in touch more with employers, getting in touch more with entrepreneurship programs. So we're not directing students only to the corporate side. Okay, corporates are great, but there are other channels. We need to improve our students' willingness to create their own business. This is the coming thing. small business, the SMEs, small and medium enterprise, will contribute to the economy more than having multinationals and corporates. So working on both arms, corporate, yes, and this is something you guys are working on. Entrepreneurship is something coming and approaching us very quickly, and if we catch it, we'll be there faster, I think.
If you don't know yourself, you're blind. You can't see yourself, right? You don't have a mirror in front of you, but you need to find yourself. Many of us, including me, including even Steve Jobs, have been in that place where we don't know where we really want to go. But looking at ourselves for some time will help us find that.
People must think differently. Why I will hire someone and he's not different than anyone else. All fresh graduates are the same. But what's different between someone and other? Interpersonal skills is a very important thing. We care about interpersonal skills. We must put interpersonal skills into the first priority into people. Innovation and creativity, and how those people are very innovative and creative in their work, in their activities, in their excel in their academic and career life.
During my college year, I've had a lot of experiences in activities, student activities, things like SPSA, Scientific Pharmaceutical Student Association, MUN, Model United Nations, Big Body, GCPT, and a lot of other things. The major one for me was SPSA. It's an organization helping pharmacy students to develop skills that will help them in their career later on. I was vice president. I was also responsible in one of the projects of SPSA, which was the Model World Health Organization. And that gave me a lot of experiences that helped me later on in my career. Well, once I graduated, I started the job hunting right away. I applied in every possible company that could ever be related to pharmacy. And then finally I got interviews. One of them was Novartis Pharma, and it was in the position of Clinical Research Associate, CRA. Clinical Research Associate mainly, we do research on drugs, post-marketing or pre-marketing drugs, research like to see the efficacy of this drug, the safety of this drug, the compliance of the patient to this drug, or comparing a drug to another drug, a lot of other, according to the research. Well, I got accepted, and I started once on 3 projects. First, I started on a project related to osteoporosis, and the other one was Alzheimer's. I was lucky enough to use a new technology, which was the digital pen. And then I started a project which was on MS, multiple sclerosis. It was actually using another new technology, which was electronic data capture, which was new in the field of CRA in Egypt. During my career, I was lucky enough to be study responsible at some point. My team leader resigned and went to another company, and I was qualified enough to take his place. And this gave me a lot of experience, things like communicating with the global Novartis Basel, and I was actually proven that I was qualified enough because they asked me in everything. Then the job hunting begins. I applied in every possible company related to the pharmaceutical field there is, and then finally I got some interviews. One of them was in Novartis Pharma for the position of the CRA, Clinical Research Associate, which is basically doing research in pre- and post-marketing drugs. Things like the efficacy of the drug, the safety of the drug, the compliance of the patient to the drugs, and it varies from one research to another, or from one study to another. And once I started on 2 studies. One was osteoporosis, and the other was on a drug related to the Alzheimer's. I was lucky enough to use a new technology, which was the digital pen. Later on, I was assigned to another study, which is for MS, multiple sclerosis. Later on, I was lucky enough to be study responsible on the Alzheimer's and on the multiple sclerosis study. This gave me a lot of experience, and still giving me a lot of experience in my communication with the global, and actually this made me gain a lot of skills. I'm just need to tell every pharmacy student out there that there is a lot of fields that you can apply for. There's a lot of jobs out there beside standing in a pharmacy or being medical rep. There's actually things like patient counseling, like CRA, and a lot of other things. Once you get into it, will open a lot of other fields. And I want to say that I'm proud to be a GUCian.
I would just like to tell everyone who is either undergrad or just freshly graduated, it's okay to follow your passion, whatever it is. I worked after I finished university in an asset management company, which is, for anyone who studied finance would know that this is actually one of the nicest things to work for. But I didn't like it at all. I could not find myself. I did not enjoy it. Even though what made me really fall in love with finance was working with some of the most amazing professors in university. They taught me how to think, they taught me how to go out of the box, they taught me how to look into the future. And because of this, I followed finance. But then I realized that not necessarily work is just like university. It might be something totally different. So after a year of struggling with myself, I decided to apply for marketing in all the top FMCGs in Egypt. And I was very lucky to get 2 offers after a few months of searching. Now I'm a very lucky Unilever employee. I'm currently a management trainee for the foods and beverages, and in a year I've become a brand manager in Lipton, which is actually one of the 5 biggest brands in Egypt. And I would just like to tell you to go crazy and don't worry about trying new things. Convince everyone around you that you deserve to be in that place, and they will believe you.
I wanted today to talk to you about my story so far and my different experiences from an undergrad to my career path so far. It all started when I first got into GUC as a very passionate student to study and learn electronics engineering. I kept on studying until the 3rd year, and then I started an internship in Germany. It was in a CNC factory machine. They produced metal parts for Airbus and airlines generally. And then things evolved when I got back to Egypt. I had this very great passion towards MUN, and I've been in several different MUNs in different universities, and we saw, myself and 5 other GUCians, we saw that there's a great opportunity that we found MUN here in the GUC, and actually that's what we did. We worked hard on it, and we started it. It was a turning point in my career and my interpersonal skills and who I am now today. I learned a lot through it, and then it shifted my way of thinking and what my career goals are. I figured out I wanted to go more into management and the business world more than the engineering electronics part. So when I graduated, I joined Booz & Company. It's a management consulting firm. I worked there for almost a year time, and then I had this urge and this dream since early on that I wanted to build my own company. And the best way to do it is basically to go to a company there and work there as an entrepreneur. So I had this opportunity to work as an entrepreneur in residence in an Egyptian local firm that had a portfolio of 5 companies. I was responsible of one of those companies that was actually losing money, and my responsibility was to make it profitable. And so far, it was a very good experience, and Now I have my company. It's called Unplugged Web. We're a web agency, and so far we have clients in Egypt, the US, and the GCC. My advice for GUCians is I wanted to share my personal experiences more about founding companies or founding organizations, and I wanted to share this experience or this knowledge. So I have basically four main things to say to people. First thing is you have to have a team, a great team, a great passion for your idea, and a very clear vision for it. The fourth thing is that you could bootstrap at the beginning and actually work on going out with the product, and then after on, when you want to grow your company, you can later on get some investors. They will be more interested in you and your team when you actually prove yourself first. That's it for me, and I'm definitely a proud GUCian.
I started Fustani.com when I was back in college, studying telecommunication engineering in GUC. And I started it off during my fourth year of college, where I would work on my graduation project, and on the other side, Fustani as well. To give you an idea about Fustani.com, it's an online media mainly revolving around fashion and lifestyle for Arab women. And we have two different editions, one in Arabic and the other in English. And our main aim is to inspire women, especially Arab women, to live a life full of creativity. During my fourth year as well, I started to work as a freelance with a London-based company. And I took that cash, which was basically almost nothing, yani. It was around 5,000 Egyptian pounds. And then I decided to start off my own thing. It started off as a one-woman show, and then, alhamdulillah, at the moment we're a team of 7 between Egypt and Jordan, and we have over 13 guest writers all over the Middle East, from GCC, Levant, and Egypt as well. So my advice for young entrepreneurs such as myself would be that when I started off Fustani, I didn't give it any thought. I just went for it because it was my passion, and that's all. I didn't plan anything in advance, nor did I do a business plan, nor did I worry much about where this business would be getting money and its revenue from. And therefore, I would advise anyone who's currently thinking of doing their own business to avoid the mistakes I have done. Think in advance what you'd like to do, plan very wisely, talk to people, understand your market. Those are things I actually learned over the past 4.5 years the hard way. It made me stronger, but it's much wiser to actually go and do those things in advance. And you also need to know then that when you start off your own business, it's a lot of work. There will be a lot of sleepless nights, but it's definitely worth it and the best feeling ever.
Actually, when I joined GUC, I was the head of freelancers project in SAIF. Also, I'm a world championship for karate in clubs since 2006. And the German University in Cairo gave me the opportunity to join the championship for universities. Actually, I got the silver medal in the German University in Cairo for karate. For the career part, I'm now working as a technology consultant analyst in EMC Square since 2010. I reached to be the first backup and recovery solution expert in the team region. The team region including Turkey, Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And accordingly for this, I was awarded 3 times this year. One of them was the Silver Award. So the GUC, the German University actually gave me the support and the personal skills in order to achieve such an achievement. So I had to say that you have to have a goal, to have to have a vision, something like this, plan for it, be strong enough to face any challenges, achieve your goal, and you have to maintain this success.
I was really an active student. I wanted to start up new activities in the university, even though there was almost nothing yet because it was pretty new. I started up with the Eco magazine. I came up with the idea of having a journeyman GUC magazine to tell all the stories and all the activities we have in the university. And the idea was really accepted by the management, and they were really supportive with the idea. So we rolled out, if I'm not mistaken, in 2008 or 2009. And I'm really impressed with the quality they have right now with the Eco magazine. And after I graduated, even before that, I'll give you a quick hint of my internships. I like traveling a lot. I went to different internships abroad. I went in UAE, in marketing and in finance for a couple of months. I tried everything. I tried as much as possible to see all the alternatives and all the options I have before I graduated. And I see that I was successful in this part because it was a very good experience. I saw different nationalities, different people, how do you think, and different standards. And it was acceptable. My performance was acceptable. And I tried to develop myself as much as possible during this period. And when I graduated, I knew exactly the field that I wanted to go. It was the field of investment banking and finance. So I started with selecting the best company in this field, which was EFG Hermes, and it was the only company that I applied in. And luckily I got a position there. I started as online sales trading. I stayed there for like 8 months, and I didn't find myself in this area much. But before that, I'll give you a quick story what happened in my interview. My interview was pretty harsh with my manager, or my ex-manager. We kept on fighting and negotiating about a specific point, and I didn't let go of my point of view, and he didn't let go of his point of view. And it ended up that we had a big fight in the interview, and I left. I was pretty sure that I will never get the job because the interview didn't go well at all. But I was surprised that a week later I got the call from the HR and I got accepted. And why I'm telling you this story, because don't try in the interview to let go of your point of view and try to just accept other people's point of view just to get something. No, stick to what you see. If you're right, and if you know if you're 100% you're right, just stick to it all the way, and the best will come out of it, like it did to me. So it all started when the chief risk officer was giving an internal training about risk management in the company and the importance in our career and so forth. And it took me only 1 second to realize that this is what I want to do, and it's more interesting than my current job, and it has more learning curve and career path in it. So after he was done talking, I went straight to him and I told him, I want to work with you. I like how it sounds, I need to learn more, I want to work with you. He was Spanish, because it's very rare to find a national Egyptian chief risk officer. So after that, 2 weeks later, he gave me an offer and I shifted. And when I went to him and I said, why did you accept me even though that I have no background at all? He told me, because you're the only one in the company who had the guts to come and ask me. So the whole point that don't be afraid, because at the end of the day, it's your career. And no one will come and give you a favor or do something for you. You have to go and fight for it. And in this job, I started to progress more. I started to develop more without anyone asking me what to do. And this is what made me progress more and more. I started to report to more senior people. I learned more from them. And now it ended up that I'm reporting directly to the board of directors, which is good. And all of this I went through in the scale of 6 years. But because I never really looked at how old is the person in front of me, what is the experience. At the end of the day, you should look at the quality and the productivity of the person, regardless what's his age. So that's why now I'm the head of operational risk in a multinational company, #1 in the Gulf and the MENA region, number 16 in the world, and I'm 27 years old. Of course, this all comes back to the level of education, the level of confidence, where you're coming from, and this is really a plus So you really should take this into consideration and be grateful for it. So to sum it up, my advice is never really look into a job that will pay you more. Look into something that you're happy to do. Keep on learning, regardless whether it's required in your job or not. And try to be more social at your work, not just come for 8 hours or 9 hours or 12 hours and leave and go back. No, try to be more social, talk to people, because this is what will make you progress and known in your company. And simply, if you don't like what you do, just shift to another thing. Don't overcomplicate things. So that's my real advice.
By then, the 2-day fall semester Business World on campus comes to an end. We got to know more about the GUC alumni from different fields and their inspirational success stories, in addition to tracing the one-on-one learning process and the mock interviews. And finally, listening to the words of the job hunting education experts.